I am the rocket man they talk about. I jump from star to star, I'll walk it out.
I'm going to gut you like a Cornish game hen.
Nope.
Hey guys, my name is Shibby2142. This is How You See Damage, Episode 5 on Machinima Respawn. The viewer comment for what loadout I use is from what I'll say, Reefer Fan. I'm not sure if that's a drug reference, but let's continue. Shibe. Enforcer, that is the pistol. Regular knife, obviously that is the knife. And Dead Ringer, that is the spy watch, How You See Damage. Well, I'll teach you how you see damage. Unless you've been living under a rock or taking arrows to the knee, you would know this game is Team Fortress 2. I prefer to play on the PC because at least we have cool stuff compared to the other versions. Now, I'm obviously playing as the spy, playing King of the Hill Viaduct. Everyone's favorite Frenchman, that being the spy, is from France. He's a fan of sharp suits and even sharper knives and also arrows. He relies on stealth and trickery to aid his teams, and using the Dead Ringer, which I'm using, can even fake his own death. What you just saw in the gameplay was the Dead Ringer actually activating, which blocks 90% of the damage when hit, so I did take some damage there as you saw. That is why I went and grabbed some health. Of course you want to implement backstabs into your gameplay. I'll get more into that later in the video. However, you need to notice how I'm picking up dropped weapons or broken metal, broken buildings, ammo packs, things of that nature to add to the cooldown so I can be using the watch for longer. You would refer to this meter as the cloak meter, and one thing that a lot of people don't know is emerging from the Dead Ringer's cloak before it is fully used up will always drain a minimum of 60% from its meter. So that means if you're going to use it right away and then cancel it, you will always lose at least 60%. The Dead Ringer PDA weapon for the spy reminds me of a sorority girl vagina because you want to get in, get out, and if you want to stay in there, you're going to have to work for it. Oh Shibby, why would you say something like that? Well, viewer, you need to know the map in Team Fortress 2 to have a successful Dead Ringer round, where you're working the ammo, working the health, and once again, if you really want to be using the Dead Ringer at all times, you have to know those locations. Now, if you're one of those viewers that says, I have never played a game of Team Fortress 2 in my life, I don't care, but I'm just interested. You know, I can respect that, and let me give you a tip that you can implement into any game. That would be just learning the maps, learning the angles, because once you become a master of the maps, then you can be a master baiter, where you bait your enemies and you can kill them at ease. Alright, well, if we're going to be serious for a second, actually learning where the enemy can and can't hit you from certain areas of the map, once again, learning the angles is extremely important, and especially important for the spy if he's going to be working the health packs, ammo packs, and where he cannot be seen. Moving on to the Enforcer, which is a community-made primary weapon. It's a snub-nose revolver with a pearl grip. The Enforcer delivers 20% more damage to enemies than the regular revolver at the expense of a half-second increased time it takes to activate the spy's cloak. So, in this gameplay, I really do not enjoy using the Enforcer, even just using it in general because of that cloak delay. I just don't use it enough to make it worth it. And it does, you know, deliver a punch, but it seems highly inaccurate from the other spy pistols. So if I wasn't taking some stoner's advice, that being Reefer Fan, who left the comment for the loadout, I would be using the Ambassador because it rewards players for headshots, unlike any of the other spy pistols. The reason why I took the teleporter in that situation was to show you guys the tracer or the tail it gives you, so just be aware that if you take a teleporter into the enemy area and you're being a spy, obviously if you're cloaked as a friendly to them and you have a red teleporter tail, and say you're playing against blue players, they will know you're a spy. It's a very telling sign. So as you saw in the gameplay right there, I pretty much completely failed as spy. You know what? That happens. I'm not the perfect spy. It's my least played class. I really don't enjoy playing spy that often. It's probably one of those classes that you need to learn what you're doing before you actually can do it. And sometimes things just screw up, like you get face stabbed or the backstab just doesn't work. That happens. As you just saw in the gameplay once again was a telltale sign of a spy, because I bumped into him while you typically can run through your teammates. That's one thing you guys should incorporate, is running at your teammates and running through them, because if you bump into them, obviously you know they're a spy, and typically they will not face stab you. Oh, shit, well, that's a pretty good tip you got there. Yeah, it's not a bad one, isn't it? Alright, so next up is the knife, also known as the butterfly knife, because that's what it is. It's the most recognizable and important weapon for the class. If the spy does not have a knife, it's pretty much broken. which, you know, in my opinion, I don't mind because of being a TF2 commentator when I'm playing against spies, they always cherry pick me, and that's kind of annoying. However, that's just a fact of life, you gotta deal with it. You will notice when the spy goes into a crit boost, when it goes into the backstab animation. So if you're like, well, I don't really know when I should backstab, well, when you see the knife go into the backstab animation, you're money. One aspect of the spy class I've not talked about yet is your disguise. So as soon as you attack while you're disguised, you will break your disguise unless you're using one of the knives that when you stab, you'll then be disguised. That's a different story. We can talk about that some other time. However, when you make a stab, try to make it count, because if you're just randomly swinging behind a player, which, you know, happens to me a lot, it will be blatantly obvious that, oh look, there is an enemy spy trying to kill me, let's team up on him and take him out. As you saw there, I could not get the backstab on the sniper, then I'm going at him with knives to the face. Sometimes you do get a face stab, that's something with lag compensation. However, the knife is one of the weakest melee weapons in the game if you're going to be attacking people from the front. And then using the dead ringer to try and get away. Pesky soldier is pesky, and we're going to try our best to stay alive. Yeah, buddy. So, as this episode of How You See Damage, episode 5, is coming to an end, let me remind you how you enter. Basically, you leave a comment, something like, hey Shibs, hey Shibby, whatever, your loadout and how you see damage. Make sure you're including how you see damage in the comment, or else I will not select it. Once again, my name is Shibby2142. Come check out my channel, that would really help me out. Also, rate and comment, of course. I mean, obviously I got a comment enter, so why not rate? That's really it. Thank you, Machinima. Hopefully I'll see you next time.